How many games will the Arizona Cardinals win in 2023? What's going on, Cardinals fans? It's Mitch here of the Bottom Line View. The Cardinals are in a very difficult position, understanding that Kyler Murray may be missing most of this season. They have multiple first-round picks that they hope could lead to a great future, but it looks like 2023 is going to be a season of struggle. So in this video, I'm going to break down week by week, matchup by matchup, how the Cardinals may fare in 2023. If that sounds good, don't forget to spike the like button and let me know in the comments if the Cardinals will surprise the NFL or if they will be picking high in next year's draft. Let's go. Cardinals fans, I'm going to be honest with you. The Arizona Cardinals are going to suck, and there's almost no denying it. But I'm here to prepare you. That's my job. I'm here to deliver the tough news, the bad news. But I also want to bring some brightness, some hope to this situation. First of all, I don't think you would be in this situation if it were not for Kyler Murray getting injured. I think with Kyler Murray playing for this team, they would at least be more competitive to the point where you would knock off a couple teams, upset some opponents, win 5 to 7 games. Because I do believe Kyler Murray's talent is enough to elevate even a bad roster in the NFL. But without Kyler Murray, I think that allows you to actually have a brighter future. I think without him for a majority of the year, if not the entire season, allow him to rest, it's going to catapult you guys to the top of the draft next year. And when you look at this schedule, I'm going to give you some of the games that I think you can win, the games that you're certainly going to lose, and then the games that I think you'll actually win. So let's go through it. Beginning with week number 1, I do think Washington will win this game, but I will say I don't think it's clear and obvious. I think the Cardinals, being that they have a new coach, there's a new hope in the building, a new culture. I think the general manager has shown some good signs moving forward from what you can expect from the front office. I kind of like the vibes this offseason from the Cardinals, and like I said, they've set themselves up well for the future. But this season is about, I believe, securing that future, and that's why I don't think they're going to want to go out of their way to be competitive this year. I really don't. But the players don't know that. The coaches don't really know that. They're just trying their best to win. And I think Washington, with their front seven, they should be able to win this game. They also have talented receivers. They brought in Eric Bieniemy to call their plays. And even though Sam Howell is inexperienced and Colt McCoy or whoever's starting for you guys is going to be more experienced, I would say that Washington has the overall better roster, and they're also at home. So I would take Washington in that game, but I don't expect it to be an easy win. I think the Cardinals will be in the game. Week 2, I'm going with the Giants, playoff team from a year ago. Brian Daboll knows Jonathan Gannon, but at the same time, Jonathan Gannon knows Brian Daboll. And if there was any defense that actually shut down the Giants last year, it was the Eagles. Now, that being said, the Eagles don't have the talent of the Cardinals, and the Cardinals don't have the talent of the Eagles, if you get what I'm saying. So I expect the Giants to win this game, mostly because I think their offense will be productive. They'll run the football, they'll control the game, and then I think Wink Martindale will have some blitzes and some creative things on defense to get after Colt McCoy and company on offense. I also will say this, I don't know what's going on with DeAndre Hopkins. That's another major question. I think if DeAndre Hopkins ends up playing for the Cardinals this year, it will boost their record up a game or two, because I do think he'll have that type of impact on the team. I'll also say, though, if he is on the team, does he get traded at the trade deadline? Does he just not want to play and he holds out and he just doesn't play? I don't know. A lot of questions here. Also, I don't know what the timetable is for Kyler Murray. We'll discuss that a little bit later in this video for potential wild card games that maybe you could pick up wins if he's playing. But I don't know. We haven't heard anything. Week 3, I think certainly the Cowboys, more talented team on offense and defense. They should win that game easy. And when you look at the schedule, man, the first 6 weeks are really tough. You play the Cowboys, who I have as a 12 or 13 win team. You have the Niners, who I have as a 12 or 13 win team. You have the Bengals, who I have as a 12 or 13 win team. All these teams top 3 seeds in their conference. And then you play the Rams, who are a divisional opponent, the Giants, who made the playoffs last year, and Washington, who have a very solid defense. So I'm going with the Niners. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan at home. Doesn't matter the quarterback. Best defense in football. Great weapons. I think the Niners win that with a blindfold on. Then you've got week 5. The Cincinnati Bengals should win easily. Joe Burrow, arguably the best team in the AFC moving forward this year. Week 6. I think this is another game that you could win. The Rams are not an extremely talented team, but given they have Sean McVay, probably still Matthew Stafford by week 6, Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp. I'm expecting all these guys to be healthy and around. That's enough for me to give them the win at home. Then week 7, Seattle Seahawks, tough place to play. A good team that made the playoffs last year. I expect to be even better this year. Seattle. Week 8, I'm going with the Ravens. Okay, really tough schedule. Lamar Jackson. I think they're going to win 11 or 12 games this year. I think they're going to make the playoffs. They have a really good defense, one of the best in football. They added to their weapon group. I mean, you're not winning these games. Week 9, you're losing to the Browns. This is another team I expect to have 9 or 10 wins. Deshaun Watson, a really good, improved defense. And best offensive line in football, maybe. I mean, that's also in Cleveland. Really tough game. Now, that could be a Colt McCoy revenge game, but you never know. But I don't expect Kyler to be back for that one. Week 10 is a game that you could win. So when we're looking at this schedule, I think you can win all of these games from week 10 to week 12, and then potentially also week 13. But I think you can win all of these games. That being said, if you're already 0-9, what's the chances you're actually going to be putting out the best effort to win all these games? So week 10, I do have the Falcons winning. Although I could see you winning if you can find a way to shut down the Falcons' run game, force Desmond Ridder to beat you, and then your offense can get something going against the Falcons' defense that I do think is improved, but we still don't know how good they are. At home, you could steal that game. That is definitely possible. Week 11, you could beat the Texans, but the game is in Houston. I think CJ Stroud by week 11-ish is going to be more comfortable. They're going to know what their identity is. Obviously, DeMeco Ryans has played you guys before. Now, if you have Kyler Murray in this game, I think you win. But if you don't, I think you lose. So ultimately, the Texans will win. On top of that, the Texans kind of have to win because they traded their first-round pick to you guys. So you want to steal this game. You'll put forth a heavy effort to win this game. But I just think the Texans will be the better team. They'll want it more, and it's in Houston. Week 12, I think this is your win. I think you beat the Rams in Arizona. I don't even know if Stafford will still be playing by this point. I have very big concerns about his health this year. I don't know if he'll be able to play even half the season given his back and his whole situation. And then they don't have a very good, deep depth chart. They could be facing injuries. I don't think they're going to be very good at the beginning of the year too. This is a game against the Steelers here that you could steal given the fact that the Steelers typically lose one really bad game every year. But it's in Pittsburgh, so I'm going to say Mike Tomlin picks up that win. Then the rest of the season, I have San Francisco, Chicago, the Eagles, and the Seahawks beating the Cardinals. And ultimately, if you lose that many games, perfect. It sets you up for the first pick. And I have to give the first pick to somebody in my predictions and projections. So ultimately, I have the Arizona Cardinals going 1-16. I know that sounds absolutely absurd, and I'm probably going to be wrong. I think they'll probably win 2 to 3 games. In all honesty, but this is just what I have projected. I think the Cardinals are as bad as any football team we have seen in recent memory when it comes to a talent on both sides of the football. Now, the offense isn't bad if you think you have D-Hop and you maybe improve the offensive line with Paris Johnson. If James Conner can stay healthy, if Marquise Brown can stay healthy, these guys are also X factors to get injured at any moment. The tight end position isn't bad, but Zach Ertz is getting older. Colt McCoy is getting older. So, what are you going to get from these players? But I don't think the offense is bad. I think the defense is really bad. Really bad from a talent standpoint. And I think this team is selling out to lose. I honestly think they're setting themselves up to get the first pick. They're setting themselves up to have 2 top 5, 2 top 10 picks next year. I really think that's their plan. And I think they're going to fulfill it. So maybe they win 2 or 3 games. Like I said, there's a chance they could beat the Falcons or the Texans or or maybe even the Bears later in the year. That's probably the game I would say if you have Kyler, maybe you can steal that game. But ultimately, I think this team has an extremely difficult schedule where they play some of the best teams in football. They play the Niners, they play the Bengals, they play the Cowboys, they play the Eagles, they play the Seahawks twice, they play the Niners twice, they play the Ravens. Ridiculous, right? So I think the Cardinals win 1 to 3 games, in all honesty. I think they set themselves up for a top 2 pick in the draft, and I think they will probably take Caleb Williams with the first pick, and maybe they'll get Marvin Harrison Jr. as well with the Texans selection, but we'll see. Let me know in the comments if you agree, if you disagree. I see the Cardinals as the worst team in the NFL, and I hate making these type of videos, but that's just the facts for me. Thanks for watching. Gronk, spike the like button, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.